Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Serenity Radiance. My name is Chinea Jasmine Ikeme, licensed clinical mental health counselor, owner of Serenity Radiance Mental Health Services, and author of Empowered to Thrive, Taking Charge of Your Mental Health. Last video, I talked generally about stress and stress management, and today I'm taking it a bit further to talk about stress coping strategies, the unhelpful, temporarily helpful, and the most effective ways we generally cope with stress. Now, as we mentioned earlier, stress is unavoidable, but how we cope with it determines whether we thrive or become stuck in cycles of emotional exhaustion. So let's explore overarching themes of coping strategies in each of these categories backed by research and clinical experience. First, let's start with the unhelpful ways people cope with stress. These strategies might feel like they help in the moment, but often worsen stress, create long-term problems, or reinforce unhealthy habits. Number 1, avoidance and denial. This is when people ignore stressors or pretend like they don't exist. For example, procrastinating on work or avoiding difficult conversations. Research shows that avoidance increases long-term anxiety and stress buildup. Number 2, substance use and numbing behaviors. This is when people turn to alcohol, drugs, excessive food, or compulsive behaviors like binge watching TV, social media scrolling, to numb emotions associated with stress. These provide temporary relief, but often escalate into dependence or worsen mental health. 3, negative self-talk and rumination. Now, this involves overanalyzing stressors and catastrophizing worst-case scenarios. Research links rumination to increased risk of depression and anxiety. Number 4, aggression and displacement. This is when people lash out at others, like road rage behaviors, unnecessary workplace conflicts, and dysfunctional family dynamics. These behaviors tend to create additional stress and harm relationships. Number 5, overworking and perfectionism. This is when people use work as an escape, setting unrealistic expectations, or engaging in people-pleasing. This tends to lead to burnout, resentment, and chronic stress. So these strategies might provide immediate relief, but they ultimately fuel stress cycles rather than resolving them. Let me know in the comments if you found yourself lean towards any of these unhelpful ways of dealing with stress, or if you've noticed these patterns in your loved ones. Next, let's talk about coping mechanisms that offer short-term relief, but they may not address the root cause of the stress. These strategies can be helpful in moderation, but over-reliance on them may limit long-term growth. Number 1, distraction and entertainment. Watching TV, gaming, reading, or engaging in hobbies, even if these hobbies are enjoyable, activities are useful for a mental break, but they do not really address the root cause of stressors or the underlying stressor. Number 2, venting and seeking validation. Talking to friends or journaling about frustrations can be helpful if balanced, but excessive venting can reinforce negativity. So, talking about the problems should be with the aim of seeking constructive feedback on how to navigate the stressors and solve problems. Number 3, exercise and physical activity. Movement releases endorphins, those feel-good chemicals that help us feel better. But if it's used solely for the purpose of avoidance, it may not resolve deeper emotional concerns. Number 4, shopping or treating yourself. Retail therapy can provide dopamine boosts, but overspending can create financial stress. Number 5, mindless relaxation techniques. Taking naps, listening to music, deep breathing and spa days can help, but without active stress management, these activities only provide temporary relief. Now, all these are definitely better than the harmful coping mechanisms discussed earlier, but they work best when paired with deeper emotional processing and proactive stress management. So drop in the comments which of these techniques you find yourself defaulting to when you're stressed. Now, you may be wondering, what then are the most effective, long-lasting ways to manage stress? I'm glad you asked. So let's now discuss research-backed, effective coping mechanisms that promote resilience, emotional regulation, and long-term stress relief. Number 1, mindful awareness and acceptance. Different from mindless activities, practicing mindfulness, meditation, or body scans can help us stay present, reduce reactivity, and process stress in a balanced way. It doesn't involve distracting ourselves from what brings us stress, but paying attention to our physiological, emotional, and cognitive responses and regulating our nervous system's reaction in healthy ways. Number 2, cognitive reframing. Challenging negative thoughts and reframing stress as a growth opportunity helps us to view it more positively. It makes a difference when we choose to see obstacles as stepping stones to greater things instead of seeing them as stumbling blocks designed to lead to our downfall. 3, problem solving. Problem solving rather than catastrophizing stressors builds resilience. Shifting from a problem-centered focus to a solution-centered focus can help us to address these stressors head-on rather than trying to avoid, ignore, or procrastinate. 4, meaningful connections and social support. Seeking deep conversations and emotional support from trusted family and friends, not just to vent, but to receive helpful, constructive feedback. Research shows that strong relationships buffer against stress. So these conversations with loved ones should be with the intention of seeking constructive feedback to help navigate these stressors. Number 4, purpose-driven self-care. Prioritizing rest, nutrition, hydration, exercise, and quality sleep as lifelong parts of our daily and weekly routines, not just a quick fix, can help adequately care for our body and our mind, can regulate the nervous system, and position us to respond to stress in healthier ways. 5, setting boundaries and time management. Saying no to things that overextend us, managing workload, and creating a healthy work-life-leisure balance helps us to prevent burnout and create sustainable stress management. These strategies not only reduce stress, but also strengthen our ability to handle challenges effectively over time. In conclusion, stress is an unavoidable part of life, but how we respond to stress determines whether it controls us or empowers us. In this video, we've covered unhelpful, temporarily helpful, and the most effective coping strategies to manage stress. What's one strategy you want to focus on improving this week? Let me know in the comments. And if you found this information helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who you know might need this message. Thank you so much for watching Serenity Radiance. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in my next video.